The 6 to 7 Figure Show, Episode 2.
Broadcasting from the Valley of the Sun outside Phoenix, Arizona, this is the 6 to 7 Figure Show. Tired of working so hard and having no time? Take your six-figure practice and turn it to a thriving seven-figure enterprise. And now, your host, author, speaker, mentor, and strategist, Frank Bria.
Welcome to the 6 to 7 Figure Show. I'm your host, Frank Bria, and today in the hot seat, we have Remya Warrior, the founder of Remya Warrior Designs, an interior design firm focused on helping you create the heart of your home. And we're going to talk to Remya about this week's topic. And of course, this week's topic is your audience segments, understanding who your audience is and what they want from you. So hopefully, by listening to this hot seat conversation with Remya, you can get a sense of the questions you need to ask yourself in order to understand what your audience wants to hear from you. Now, if you want to continue this conversation, join us over at the free 7 Figures Plus Facebook group. And you can find that on Facebook. And it is called 7 Figures Plus. The link is in the show notes page. You can also find the link at our homepage, 6to7figureshow.com. And the link to join 7 Figures Plus is right there. Also, my homepage, frankbria.com, right smack in the middle of the page. Join us over at 7 Figures Plus. It is free. We are going to be talking about audience segments all week. It is a great community to join. There, we help each other grow our businesses every single day. We have opportunities for you to share what's going on in your business so that everyone in the community can jump on and share that information further with their audience. It's a great way to grow. You need to join us there, and it's absolutely free. So seriously, there's really no reason why you shouldn't. So without further ado, we're going to get into this awesome hot seat conversation with Remya Warrior. Remya, welcome. How are you today?
Good, Frank. Thank you so much.
I'm glad to be talking with you. So, I thought what we'd do first is have you give an introduction of yourself and your business, and then we'll get started diving into your audience.
Okay, awesome. So I'm Remya Warrior, and I have been an interior designer for the past 13 years. I've been working for myself for the past 3 years. I've been helping women who love to cook and entertain turn their house into their dream home.
That's great. That's really tight and powerful. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about, we want to talk today about segmenting your audience into need segments so that we understand what kind of messages they want to hear from you at what point in time, okay? Mm-hmm. And in order to do that, let's get a little bit more specific around how you help them. You say you help women turn their their home into their dream house. How do you go about doing that?
So one of the things that I work with are the kitchens.
Okay.
So I've done a lot of kitchen renovations in the past. And most of the time when the customer is coming to me, they're talking about how they do not have enough storage in their house.
Okay.
And sometimes they're also thinking of whether they need to sell the house because they're not able to see the whole picture of how their house can function better for them.
Okay.
So when I go in and I try to look at what their dream home is or what their dream kitchen is, by asking them to do a little bit of homework. So if they're able to show me instead of just telling me, that is more powerful because sometimes some people have things in their mind, but what they're saying is not what I have in my mind. So okay. I always ask them to show me pictures. Once they show me pictures, then I sort of try to get as to who the person is, and I also look around their home to know what their immediate style is. Once I know that, and once I know their problems, then it's easier for me to solve that. Okay,
that's helpful.
Yes. And sometimes it's a matter of trying to rearrange their kitchen. Sometimes it's a matter of having to knock down a wall and open up the space. So it depends on each person's kitchen, how it's laid out, what is not functioning for them right now, so that I can help make it much more better for them.
Okay. So I want to focus on this pain point of not having enough storage, and I want to try to dig a little deeply into this.
Yeah.
So why is not having enough storage a problem?
So a lot of times people, because they don't have storage, because they don't have enough storage, they're not able to work better in their kitchens. So they're usually very frustrated.
And why is it important to have a functional kitchen for them?
So I think kitchens are usually the heart of the home, right? Especially for somebody who likes to cook and entertain. Mm-hmm. When it doesn't function well, they don't want to cook. They don't want to spend time there.
And where else would they go?
So sometimes, like one of my clients had a very tiny kitchen, and she had to store her stuff, part of it in the basement and part of it in the garage. So as she's cooking, she had to run and get stuff if she forgets something from her garage or from her basement. And that was very, very, not just confusing, it was very frustrating for her.
And, okay, so it's frustrating because she's running back and forth. And how did that affect her?
So she did not really enjoy cooking. And this is a woman for whom cooking was important, because that was one of the ways she showed her family that she cared. And she actually learned all the cooking from her mom. So the homemade food or the home-cooked meal is something which she always had a very, a deeper connection to her mom, because that's how her mom showed her the love and the affection and stuff.
Okay, I want to dig into this a little bit with you, because I'm cheating a little bit because I know you a little bit, so I know things that are important to you as well.
Yeah.
Normally I would ask, but I'm going to spare the asking because I already know the answer. Okay. Is this issue of being able to have a central location for a family gathering common among your clients?
If I talk about my ideal clients, then it is.
Okay.
Like for them, cooking and serving, for them to be surrounded amongst their friends and family, all these things happen to be very important for them.
Yeah, and the reason I'm asking is because I happen to know that family is important to you.
Oh, yes, yeah. For me, it's the most sacred thing of
right.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I sense there's a piece here that is the core of what you're offering. You're not offering more storage. You're offering a family to have a central location so that they can come together on a regular basis and be a family.
Right.
So I think that's a really interesting point, because that may be a central component of the message that you have to deliver.
Okay. So the family to come together and provide a central location, right? So that should be my the big promise.
Yeah, I think the big promise, the big result that you have is you're essentially not just having people have their dream home, but you're having a home that supports the family.
That's true. Okay.
And supports the family coming together for dinner.
Right.
As opposed to, well, we're going to go out for McDonald's or whatever.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
okay.
It definitely promotes healthy living too, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's tons of benefits, right? Physical, emotional, spiritual benefits associated with this, right? But I think that it hones in on an ideal client for you, because this ideal client is not somebody who's just complaining about not having enough storage. This is a client who cares about their family and wants to provide a better home environment at meal times, and is frustrated because they have a house that seems to inhibit them from doing that.
Right.
So in your ideal client's mind, what's the pain point? Like, what are they staying up late at night worrying about?
Obviously, cooking is very important for them.
Okay.
Having big dinners is important for them. So Thanksgiving ends up being very important. The big holidays are very important, the Christmas and Thanksgiving and all that.
Right.
So they're very scared of when they have to have a lot of other people come in, their friends and family come in. They don't have, it's a very difficult proposition for them to cook for all these people, even though they want to do it.
Yeah, they're embarrassed, right?
They're very embarrassed, yes.
And probably embarrassed and frustrated because what they really want to do is bring these people in and spend time with them.
Yes.
Okay, so here is, so I think that's enough to get started on understanding our audience. So let's think about the audience. Now, the way that I like to segment audiences is by what I call their need segment. In other words, what do they need today? Okay? Mm-hmm. And not everybody is going to wake up in the morning and put all of these connect all these dots, right?
Yeah.
A woman is not going to wake up and go, oh, I'm really worried about my family, and it's really all about my kitchen.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You're going to have to put those dots together for them. You're going to have to connect them.
Right.
So here are the four major segments in your prospect pool, okay? Mm-hmm. We have the first group that I like to call loiterers. These are people who don't know anything about you or what you do.
Right.
The next group I like to call lookers. These are people who are interested in what you have to say, generally, but they need to understand what you're proposing. In other words, I need to understand what it means for me in my life.
Okay.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
This next group is called a shopper. I like to call them the shoppers. These are people who are interested in achieving the benefits but need the facts and figures to back it up. Okay? And then finally, you've got the buyers. These are people who are ready to transact business with you, and they need to know how to get it done, what it looks like to actually do business with you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's dig into each one. The loiterer needs to hear from you what your unique selling proposition is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a unique selling proposition. First of all, do you have a unique selling proposition that you like?
I'm not very sure at this point.
Okay. So let's see if we can dig one up. All right. So a really good unique selling proposition is made up of two components.
Okay.
One is the big result that you generate, and the other is the thing that you control. So the way that I describe it is I like to call it benefit plus control. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And what that means is that your benefit, your big benefit, is something which usually falls into one of four categories: make money, save money, stay out of jail, or have a better life. Okay?
Right.
So yours is clearly have a better life.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is we're going to create a better life. We need to be very clear about what that better life looks like. But we're going to do that while doing something else, right? Mm-hmm. So, for example, I could say, we create for you a kitchen that attracts your family to stay home and spend time with you. I'm just making that up.
Right,
that may not be it.
Okay.
But what we want to do is we want to put something on the other side that counterbalances it, because I could say, well, that sounds great. That's going to cost me $700,000, right?
Right.
So we want to have something else which is offsetting. So, for example, I'll give you an example. You might say, well, you can make more money in 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
You see how that balances it off? Like, it time boxes it and says, basically, it's something you're going to get in a short period of time. And so, or you might say, if you're a restaurant, I'm going to lower your food costs while increasing the customer satisfaction of your food. See how those offset each other? You would think normally, oh, you're going to lower cost, that means quality is going to go down. No. We're going to control for quality, it's going to go up. So we need to find that other thing on the other side. What would you say is, why do you make this kitchen awesome better than anyone else?
I bring soul into it. No, that's... so one of the customers whom I went back to interview, that's what she told me. You should call yourself a soulful designer.
Okay.
So I'm trying to say, okay, can I use that? But, I mean, I believe everybody does. Like all the designers whom I know, they do it because of their passion. But what I think I bring in, which I haven't heard the other designers mention, is the spiritual aspect of it.
Okay.
Where you're trying to make it an extension of that person's personality, and it's not about me.
Tell me what that means exactly. I'm not sure I understand.
Okay, so one of the things, because I'm an interior designer and I don't just do kitchens, one of the things I do say is I help tell your story. So if I'm doing like your living room or a family room, I help tell your story of who you are and who your family is. And it does reflect that. I mean, a part of that reflects on the kitchen also, but it's not just about storage or just about the cabinets, right? When I'm doing a kitchen renovation, it's more about, okay, how do I bring about the cabinet design to make it more functional for you, and how I add, how I choose your backsplash or your lighting or anything, and that adds their personality into it. So the rest of the stuff that comes in after the cabinets are designed or the space planning is done is how I bring out their personality.
But wouldn't every designer say that? I mean, even if it's not true, wouldn't they say that?
They probably do.
Okay,
that's why I talk about the spiritual aspect, because I haven't heard anybody yet, at least from what I know, talk about the spiritual.
But I think your focus on family is unique.
The focus on, okay.
I mean, is that related?
Does.
When you say spiritual, isn't family a significant part of that for you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's all about love.
So then why don't we go there?
Okay.
Because I hear you kind of come back to family over and over again, and when you're trying to outline your value proposition, you seem to be skirting it. But I think you should dive right in head first into it. If your ideal client is trying to get a positive interaction with their family, I think that's something you should talk very explicitly about.
Okay. That would be awesome.
So how about some kind of a unique value proposition that basically says, I create the kitchen of your dreams that provides the central location for your family. No, that's not. I'm trying to think of a good way to say that.
Right.
So I want to connect the two together, kitchen and family. What does your ideal client want to achieve with their family that they don't have today?
I think most of my ideal clients are very much family oriented.
Yeah.
So they're very close with their families already.
Okay.
But I do like that they have like this central place where all their family comes in as they are cooking, that the family can actually be there. Because all the clients whom I have helped, like the prior to that, the before part of it is like a very cramped space. So they don't have that space where they can actually entertain their family as they're cooking, so that they can enjoy the process of cooking and sharing time with their family. Okay.
So your unique selling proposition is going to be specifically around kitchens, creating a space for families to come together.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Can you just repeat that again?
Well, I haven't created a sentence out of it
Okay.
yet.
Right.
But just kitchens that create a place for families to come together.
Creates a space. Okay. Space for families to come together. I like
In
that.
fact, I wonder if that's not it. So, I create the kitchen of your dreams that allows your family to come together.
That allows your family to come together. Okay.
Yeah, there could be stronger language there. I'll think about that for a little bit more, but it's enough to go on.
Right.
By the way, this infuses everything that you're doing, because you talk very strongly about family, but I don't see it in your marketing.
That's true.
So that's something I think we should change.
Okay.
So anyway, let's talk about the need segments. Okay, so your loiterer needs to hear that this is what you do.
Okay.
You design kitchens, the dream kitchen that becomes the central location for family gathering.
Right.
Okay, that's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the message that you have for those people who don't know anything about you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's talk about lookers. Lookers are going to hear that message and go, that's interesting. Now what we need to do is we need to paint them a picture of what it would be like to have one of those kitchens in their home.
Oh, okay.
So what would it be like?
Can you repeat that question? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. What would it be like to have one of those kitchens in your home where the family could always come together and feels comfortable and you can entertain and have your family over and not feel embarrassed? What does that look like? What does that feel like for somebody?
It's a place where you feel happy to invite people to, where you're not embarrassed,
right?
And where you can actually show off your incredible design sense.
Okay. So you've got entertaining your family and friends.
Yes.
You've got great meals.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
You've got great family dinner time conversation. You've got closer relationships. So what I want you to do is to think a little bit about the connective pieces between what this looks like, right? We're telling a story, we're painting a picture. And it's just like, painting an actual painting. We're going to put all the details in of all of the different pieces of this vision. So it's not just the backsplash and the cabinets, right? It is the full experience of having the end state of having that family there and the great things that happen.
Okay, so all the benefits is what we are outlining.
Well, and we're not talking about them as benefits yet. That'll come.
Okay.
What we want to do before then is we want to tell a story. We want to tell a story. Here's what it looks like to have one of these beautiful kitchens installed in a home where the family is the centerpiece of home life.
Okay.
And it's kids enjoying time with their parents at dinner time. It's dinner table conversations. It's people expressing love and affection for each other over meals. It's having beautifully set up meals that not only does everyone want to be at, but wants to invite people to because they're so proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's an attraction.
Okay.
And that's the messaging we need to deliver. Your lookers want to understand what this is going to be like for them. They want to hear this story.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about shoppers. Now, once I bought that vision, once I agree, I want that. Now I need to find out how I've got to get it, right?
Uh-huh.
So how can you deliver on that promise, Remya? How can you deliver on the promise of this beautiful kitchen that is an attraction for the family? What do you do that does that?
Now, does this come to like the process of what I do when I go in and measure and...
It can. Yep, it can come to process, but we want to focus on what's in it for them, right? So process is more next stage, but I want you to focus on the what you do that makes this happen. So let's stay big picture.
What I'm still not very sure as to what that is.
Okay, so think about how you engage with your clients. What's unique about your engagement model that brings about this result? And you talked about it a little bit before, where you talked about how you let them come out as part of the design process. When you have conversations and you sit down to talk about this, how is what you do going to result in this end result and benefit?
So I go through pictures with them.
Okay.
Right now, a lot of people whom I've helped before, there has been some people who thought they had very bad design sense. They thought they had, and they had other people who were telling them that they have very bad, that they don't have a good design style. Towards the end of it, once people sit with me and look through pictures and we go through a lot of steps, then towards the end they actually come out and say, oh wow, I picked these things with you, so I actually do have a good design sense or style.
Okay, so it helps build their confidence.
Build their confidence, yes.
Great, okay. And it helps them feel like the end result really is them and not just some designer who swoops in and creates it all. Right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. What else? Is there anything specific that you do in your design process that focuses on family, that helps make it more family-friendly? So this is another thing which is very common, and husband having a different view and wife wanting a different thing. And they don't know how to combine both of their different styles. Does that constitute for it, or? Yeah, and what do you do in that case?
So I try to have both of them give me the end product of how they would want their the dream kitchen or the dream room to look like. Mm-hmm. And then I start dissecting what both of them are saying, and generally both of them have a lot of things in common, and then bring it all together so that it's an extension of both of them, not just one person.
Great. Okay, great. So then I think that helps create some messaging. We want to talk about process. We want to talk about what specifically you're doing to bring about this great family-friendly kitchen in the end. So the shopper is going to need to know, okay, what does that look like? First you do this, then you do that, then you do this. But it needs to have you and your special process as part of that, right? You need to be basically saying that in order for you to achieve this vision, you do something differently. And so you've mentioned a couple of those things, but I want you to think more about what specifically you do that helps make sure that outcome actually happens, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so let's talk about the buyer. The buyer now wants to know how they're going to do business with you. So if someone says, Remya, we're ready to go, what does that process look like? What do they have to do to actually start work?
So they give me a retainer, and then I start working with them. Okay. So the sort of like the buy now button, right?
Okay, so contract signed?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a contract. Is that delivered online? Is it delivered in person, via email?
So the contract is, I always try to do it in person, especially if it is a local person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to drop by. So in order to do that, we have to set up an appointment.
Yeah, so the contract, before I sign the contract, that I do give them a presentation. Sometimes I've done it before, the presentation that, okay, I am the right person for the job.
Okay.
Right? So if they are able to show me what they want, and if I know I can deliver, then I make a presentation and I show them, okay, I can do it. This is what you're asking me to do, I can do it. And I show them.
So the presentation sounds like it's for the shopper, right? This is someone who hasn't yet decided to buy.
Okay.
But they have definitely bought into the vision.
Yes.
Okay. Great. So you have a presentation, and then at the end of the presentation, do you give them a contract? Is that how that works?
Yes. And generally, if I've already understood the person and I know what they want, then I generally close the sale at that time.
Got it. Okay. So, all right, so you've got that process well defined. All right, so I want to talk really quickly about how you deliver the messaging on each of these segments, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Loiterers, that's easy. It's a part of your brand proposition. It's on your website. It should be in your email signature, and that's a very quick message around your unique selling proposition. I want to focus around your looker message, this painting the picture of the family and the kitchen.
Okay.
Because this is the thing, I think, which is not quite there for you yet.
Okay.
I mean, let's think about this. You do a couple of things, right? You have Coffee Break, right?
Yes.
That's your video interview program.
Yes.
What other lead magnets or marketing do you have?
So I have a freebie on my website.
What's that?
And that is the top 10 things that you need to keep in mind before you buy a sofa.
Okay. So why sofa if kitchen is your thing?
Because I wanted to make the entire interior design my thing. And not just the kitchens. And in the past, so I actually had a little bit of a problem with one of my vendors. So the past 2 to 3 kitchens that I did with that vendor, I started having problems. So I wasn't very happy about it.
Okay.
And if I'm not I'm not 100% sure, then I don't want to sell that.
Sure, of course.
But now I actually got another cabinet company which is much better, and I can still service the clients that I have been servicing with a better product, which is just going to cost them just a little bit more than the other, but quality-wise, it's a huge difference. Okay,
so basically, you are kitchen is your thing.
So kitchen is one thing which I believe I can put a stamp on because the other designers in the area, they don't know how to do the kitchen design.
So, yeah, I mean, I get that you can do design everywhere.
Yes.
But I think that you are going to have a laser focus in order to get your message to cut through all of the other designers. And I think you've got a great story to tell around kitchens and family. And by the way, even if kitchen is the entree, there's other things you can do, right?
Yeah.
But I think telling the story, I think focusing your message around kitchens and a kitchen that creates a family environment is killer. And I think that everything you do should be laser focused on that.
Right.
For example, I think your Coffee Break series should be all about family.
Okay.
I don't think you should be interviewing anybody who doesn't talk about family.
Okay.
Because, again, remember what you're trying to do for the looker. We're trying to create the vision of what it's like. So you should be writing about the benefits of family mealtime. You should be writing about great ways to entertain extended family in your home. You should be talking about and doing interviews with people who have great stories about ways that they were creatively using their kitchen in order to have their family together with them at a holiday. These are the kinds of things that you should be talking about constantly. It should be kitchen, food, family, kitchen, food, family. And if Remy's talking about it, it's kitchen, food, family, period. End of story. Like there's no concern or even a question in our mind what Remya stands for.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Well, thank you. This is so awesome.
Okay, good.
Sorry.
I'm glad. I'm glad. I wanted to make sure this was hitting good points for you, so I'm glad to hear that.
Yes.
Okay, so have we given you enough to do, Remya? Have we given you homework?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good. So I think you've got a lead magnet you probably want to redo.
Yes.
You don't have to do it immediately, but I think you want to redo it. And your Koffee Break series, I think, needs a focus. Right now, you're talking generally about hanging out with the right people and getting inspired. I think this needs to be all about family for you. I think it's so connected with who you are. It's so connected with what's important to you. And there's other people who fit into that mindset. Mm-hmm. And I think that should be what you talk about. I think you should be very, very specific because you're going to be painting this picture of what it's like to have the great central family meeting place be the kitchen.
Right. Okay, cool.
How's that feel?
It feels really good. It feels like, okay, I'm getting a little bit more clarity, which is what I needed. So,
good.
Excellent. Thank you so
Awesome.
much. I cannot thank you enough, really.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm glad that we had a chance to chat with you about this. So, let us know how it goes. When you've got new stuff up, drop us a line and let's see where you're going with it. Let's see the messaging. I'm excited to see where you take it.
Okay. Thank you, Frank.
Thanks so much for spending time with us today.
Well, you're very welcome.
All right. Bye-bye. That's all the time we've got today. But thank you, Remya, for joining us and sharing with us about your business and your path towards understanding your audience better. I know it was a great experience for everybody to learn more about how to get in touch with that audience segment. So with that, one more invitation. If you want to implement this stuff, this is what we're doing in the Scale Mastermind. In our Scale Mastermind group, we are getting in and implementing this. You're working with me and other business owners on a regular basis to do this. So if that's what you want, that's where you need to be. You need to be in that mastermind group, and you can find that at 6to7figureshow.com/mastermind or my website, frankbria.com/mastermind. That's where you can find out information on how to jump into that group. Hope to see you there. Thanks again for joining us today. My name is Frank Bria. I've been your host here at 6 to 7 Figure Show, and I wish you all the best in your journey to get to a 7-figure plus business. And with that, we will see you next time. Make it happen.